Good morning, and welcome to the University of North Dakota School of Law Commencement Ceremony. We are pleased you are able to join us today. The ceremony is about to begin, so please find your seats. To honor our graduates and other guests, please place your phones on vibrate or turn them off, and make sure the aisles are clear. If you have small children and need to leave the auditorium for any period of time, you can follow along with the ceremony on the television in the lobby. If you must leave your seats during the ceremony, please be considerate of others. Enthusiasm for your graduate is understandable and encouraged. However, we ask that you do not use air horns during the ceremony. Our procession will include music by pianist Brent Hermans. Please stand as the candidates for degrees enter the auditorium.
Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Catherine Rand, and I am privileged to serve as Dean of the School of Law. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the spring commencement ceremony for the University of North Dakota School of Law class of 2018. Thank you for being here this morning to mark this auspicious occasion and to join us in recognizing the collective achievements of our graduates. Let me begin by introducing the members of our platform party. Casey Ryan, member of the North Dakota State Board of Higher Education. Mark Kennedy, president of the University of North Dakota. Professors Kit and Eric Johnson, our distinguished commencement speakers. Grant McGimsey, dean of the UND School of Graduate Studies. And Scott Corral, University Registrar. I'd also like to introduce some members of our law school community who will play important roles in this morning's commencement ceremony. Each year, the graduating class selects the Commencement Proctor, who has the honor of reading the name of each graduate as she or he crosses the stage, and the Commencement Hooders, who have the honor of placing an academic hood lined with the colors of the University of North Dakota on each graduate. This year, the class of 2018 selected Bradley Parrish, our Assistant Dean for Student Life, to serve as proctor. Dean Parrish has been an incredibly important part of our graduates' lives since their first year orientation. The class of 2018 also selected to serve as hooders Professors Michael McGinnis and Julia Ernst, who, along with our other faculty, have been teachers, advisors, and mentors for our graduates. Throughout the auditorium today are our commencement ceremony marshals wearing distinctive green robes. The marshals are students selected from our rising second and third year classes based on academic excellence. The Grand Marshal, who will assist in the diploma ceremony later in our program, is Matthew Kopp. During this morning's commencement ceremony, the degree of Juris Doctor will be formally conferred on each of our graduates. The formality of this centuries-old tradition, the academic regalia of our platform party and graduates, and the pomp and circumstance that surround this morning's ceremony are appropriate to the occasion. This morning, we mark the transition of our graduates from aspiring attorneys to members of the legal profession. We recognize and honor the class of 2018 and their accomplishments, and we acknowledge those who have made the present and future successes of our graduates possible. First, the people who have dedicated their professional careers to the University of North Dakota School of Law, our talented and accomplished faculty, our highly capable staff, and our tireless administrators. From admissions to placement, from orientation to commencement, and everything in between, our faculty and staff are responsible for the excellent program of legal education we offer at the School of Law. Even more, their good and generous spirit ensures that the School of Law is a welcoming and supportive environment for all of our students. I'd ask all of the faculty and staff of the School of Law to stand so that we may acknowledge your role in the success of the class of 2018. And there is another group of people who deserve credit for their role in seeing each of our graduates to and through this day. Over the past 3 years, graduates, each of you has had friends and family, cheerleaders and confidants, shoulders to cry on, and arms to raise you up. Some of those people are here today, and others are with us in spirit. I'd ask our graduates to take a moment to hold in your hearts your loved ones who are here in spirit. And many of your loved ones are here in person this morning. Mothers, fathers, grandparents, you have given our graduates roots to keep them firmly grounded and wings to let them soar. Please stand so that we may honor you. Spouses and partners of our graduates, you have given your love and support by choice during this 3-year-long test of your relationship. And the children of our graduates who are so proud of their moms and dads. Please stand, spouses, partners, and kids, so that we may honor you as well. The class of 2018 thanks you, and all of us at the School of Law thank you for sharing with us this incredible group of people. We are pleased to have Dr. Casey Ryan, a member of the State Board of Higher Education, with us today. A practicing physician with expertise in endocrinology and internal medicine, Dr. Ryan also is an experienced hospital administrator, having served as president of All True Health System here in Grand Forks for nearly 2 decades. He also is a teacher, helping to train medical students at UND. In short, Dr. Ryan has done much during his career to further healthcare and medical education in his hometown and home state. I invite Dr. Ryan to deliver greetings on behalf of the State Board.
Wow, a physician talking to law students. Practicing lawyers pretty soon. Anyway, thank you, Dean Rand, President Kennedy, faculty, other members on the stage, parents, family, graduates. On behalf of the State Board of Higher Education, we congratulate you. Some people might say, well, what does the State Board of Higher Education mean to me? Some people might say, why would anyone want to be on the State Higher Board of Education? Because everyone seems to know a lot about education, and we seem to be a very controversial body. Not because of what we've done, because maybe of what we haven't done or what legislators think. And it's hard to find groups of people who really like us. So it's an interesting job. I've not quite been here for a year. But we are, in essence, the 4th body within the state of North Dakota that has to do with education. And it's very important to us that we provide to citizens in the state of North Dakota and to the people of North Dakota the opportunity for our citizens to have an education and do something that can help them become productive members within the state of North Dakota. So for you as graduates, this is an interesting day. This is a day of relief and a day of freedom. Freedom of having to go to a class, to have to pass another test. So I looked some things up. I thought this was fairly interesting. I have done a variety of things in my career, and this has to do with 108 laws of wisdom. And I thought, well, since it says laws, and I thought that might apply to this group. It was put together by Leanne Kaiser Carlson. She runs a school called Two Worlds Wisdom School, but I want to leave you with 4 law thoughts. The law of thought: you are what you think. The law of knowledge: understanding brings you the ability to control your life. The law of discipline: discipline brings greater freedom. The law of accountability: the more you know, the more you are accountable for its right use. A lot of thought went into those words of wisdom, but it will apply to your life as you move on. UND has given you the opportunity. It doesn't guarantee you anything. It just gives you the opportunity. What you have to do starts today in where you want to go and what you want to become. Some of you may become justices. Maybe someone in this room could become a justice in the Supreme Court. You don't know where you'll be, but you at least have to dream to get yourself there. And if you don't believe you can get there, obviously you won't. As already stated by others, you need to thank the people that brought you here. There are many things that you're taught in school, but one of the things that I think I would like to have you take away from today is that what's most important is communication. And oftentimes, the education within the realm of communication is not adequate. Certainly it's not adequate within medical school. So if you have to choose between being nice and being smart, choose nice, because nice always wins. And you will find that as you look for a job and as you want to keep a job, always be nice. And there may be days when you think, I don't want to be nice. But you have to control those days, because that's what moves you forward. If you want to move up in an organization, you have to be nice and you have to be a good communicator. So this is a great day for all of you. Remember what UND has given you. Good luck in your careers. And I hope that many of you will continue to work in the state of North Dakota. And I've said before, if you can't have the best, take second best and try and work in Minnesota. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan, for being with us today. We appreciate the State Board's support of higher education, including professional education in North Dakota, and we appreciate your support of the next generation of attorneys who will serve our state and our nation. The class of 2018 already is making history. Their selection for commencement speaker is a first in the School of Law's history. The class chose not just one, but 2 commencement speakers. Now, perhaps a few of you in the audience are thinking, oh no, this ceremony is never going to end. Well, first of all, it is going to end, and we will treat you to brunch afterward. And second, you are in for an exceptional commencement address. The class of 2018 has selected 2 outstanding UND School of Law faculty, Professors Kit Johnson and Eric Johnson, or as they are affectionately known, Business Johnson and Torts Johnson. The Professors Johnson exemplify what is truly at the core of our character at UND School of Law, caring about our students, both as aspiring attorneys and as people. We are a law school with heart, and that is rare in today's cutthroat legal education market. More and more, law schools are treating students like commodities. At UND School of Law, we don't treat students like commodities. We treat them like good people with great potential. And that is what Kit and Eric have done during their time at the School of Law. They have cared about our students. They have contributed to our students' success. They have made our students' education both rigorous and rewarding. They have encouraged students inside and outside the classroom, and they have reminded our students to find joy along the journey. Perhaps most importantly, Kit and Eric have been part of what makes our law school such a uniquely tight-knit and supportive community. They have built lasting relationships with their students and colleagues that will abide far beyond today. When I asked the students why, out of all possible commencement speakers, they wished to have the Professors Johnson address their class, their friends, and their families on the occasion of their law school graduation. They shared these heartfelt words addressed directly to Kit and Eric. Allow me to share them with you. Professor Eric Johnson, brilliant legal mind aside, your overall persona and respect for students has left a memorable impact on our class. Your exceptional ability to break down complex and abstract legal concepts, your animation of different legal doctrines, your willingness to assist all of us in an abundance of matters outside of class, and to put in undoubtedly countless hours preparing materials to help us succeed is priceless, and we have noticed. Professor Kit Johnson, you have made a powerful impression on our class. Your candid, unapologetic, and energetic approach and the effort and care you put into your teaching have been true signs of your devoted partnership with us as we journey into the field of law. Your availability outside of class to further educate and support us in a multitude of ways has provided us with a very real sense of your dedication to our success. Professors Kit and Eric Johnson, the class of 2018 humbly and cordially ask you for your special appearance one additional time on a different stage and with wide open discretion to deliver us the messages you deem most important for us to hear as we graduate from this fine law school. Well said, class of 2018. Please join me in welcoming Professors Kit and Eric Johnson for their commencement address.
Dr. Ryan, President Kennedy, Dean Rand, colleagues, family, and friends of our graduates, members of the class of 2018 of the University of North Dakota School of Law, thank you. Thank you for this enormous honor to be able to address you on this wonderful day.
When we were first invited to give this commencement address, we immediately looked for what were considered to be the best commencement addresses of all time. We did that because, as lawyers, we believe in the usefulness of precedent.
And because we wanted to make sure that our speech was better than anybody else's.
It turns out that people have made lists of the 10 best commencement addresses, the 20 best. There's even a list of the 305 best commencement speeches.
And so we hereby incorporate all of those speeches by reference as if fully set forth herein, except for any and all portions thereof that were flubbed, filler, self-absorbed, offensive, or off-putting. As you can see, by using just one of the tools of the lawyer's trade, incorporation by reference, our speech is now already better than any other speech that's come before. That's demonstrably true, and now a matter of record.
We watched and read lots of those greatest commencement speeches, and what we found was they tend to be filled with advice about how you can go out into the world and be successful. We're going to do something a little different because, as your professors, we already know that you are a success.
We have seen how smart and capable you are, and we have borne witness to the knowledge and skills you have amassed. And after today, you will have a law degree. By any measure, that makes you a success, and frankly, it puts you on something of a summit.
To everyday citizens, the law is a source of stability and protection, but it is also a source of anxiety because it is complex, arcane, and veiled.
but you have the knowledge to access the law, the operating system of society. You can open up and understand those law books, what David Dudley Field called sealed books to the mass of the people.
People without your training, more than 99% of the population, are often afraid to do things they have a right to do because they don't know how to navigate the law. They are hesitant to start a new business, worried about uploading a video to the internet, fearful of crossing a border, terrified of dying before they can get their affairs in order. But not you. You will never feel small in front of the law. As of today, you are masters of law. Well, actually, it's better than that. You are doctors of law. Upon crossing this stage, you transition from learning the law to being stewards of it. It will be your responsibility now, whether you want it or not.
And so we want to talk to you about how to use your success. Here is our advice.
Be open to challenges.
Pick your battles.
Trust your instincts.
Be cheerful.
Be generous.
Plan for the future.
Be resilient.
Be just.
Be supportive. So first, be open to challenges. Opportunities will come to you that you haven't sought out. You may not think you're ready to take a deposition when that first one lands in your lap. Be adventurous and take it on, even if the opportunity seems overwhelming. When I first got an opportunity to take the lead in questioning a witness at trial, I was pregnant. And I had so much adrenaline shooting through my body, the baby was doing flips inside of me. But I did it, and it was exhilarating. And afterwards, a juror commended me on my performance. Just kidding. I think she asked me where I got my shoes. And knowing the rules of professional conduct, I politely said I was prohibited from speaking with her. Is that right, Professor McGinnis? That is right. So, be open to challenges.
That said, you can't take on every challenge, so you've got to pick your battles. The summer after I graduated from law school, I took the California bar exam. After the first day's session, there's one incredibly important thing to do: relax so that you're rested for the second day. I wanted to decompress by talking to my then girlfriend. Happy story, she's now my wife. But I didn't want to pay the hotel's exorbitant telephone rates, so I drove to Target and I bought a calling card. Back at the hotel, I dialed the calling card number and it didn't work. So what did I do? I could have just paid the hotel rates, then I could have gone onto the hot tub, ordered some room service, because remember, the main thing I had to do was relax. But what did I actually do? Because I was insane from having taken the bar exam for the full day, I got back into my car, drove back to Target, waited in line for guest services, and asked for my money back. Their response: you can't return calling cards, store policy. So, naturally, insane as I was, I started politely telling the guest services representative about Article 2 of the Uniform Commercial Code. Oh yeah, I explained I had the right to revoke acceptance because under the implied warranty of merchantability, the calling card wasn't fit for its ordinary purpose, etc., etc. Now, to tell you how this situation ultimately resolved, I have to teach everyone here a little bit about the law. When two different legal authorities conflict, there's a hierarchy about which one takes precedence. At the bottom is case law. Above that are acts of the state legislature. If they conflict, acts of the state legislature take precedence. Above that is the state constitution. Above that are acts of the United States Congress. And above that is the U.S. Constitution. Then, above all of that is store policy. It didn't matter what the Uniform Commercial Code said, not at the High Court of Guest Services at Target. Now, irony. Fast forward 18 years later, and I'm teaching sales law at UND. Now I can see that actually, for that calling card, Article 2 wasn't applicable, not under the predominant purpose doctrine or the gravamen test. Anyway, pick your battles, and please don't be like me. Relax between day 1 and day 2 of the bar exam. So, my instincts that day weren't great, but in general,
Trust your instincts. I represented a woman seeking immigration relief on the basis of extreme abuse by her U.S. citizen husband. She spoke Chinese. I was using an interpreter, but there was something off about his body language when he was translating for my client. I had this feeling that I wasn't getting everything she was trying to tell me. I asked around and got a friend of a friend to come in and translate instead. Suddenly, I was hearing a whole different story. It became apparent that the previous interpreter didn't think it was appropriate for my client to be telling tales about her husband. Changing the interpreter made all the difference for gathering the facts I needed to make my client's case. Trust your instincts. Now, the next piece of advice can be hard when your practice involves violence, divorce, or bitter business disputes, but you should endeavor to
Be cheerful. When you are cheerful, it is like a little gift you give to everyone who is nearby. I, for one, am very thankful for the cheerful people around me. Now, being cheerful isn't always easy, especially if you're like me and your interactions with other people are principally based on sarcasm and dry humor. Just ask the members of the class of 2018 who spent day after day with me in class wondering, is he joking again? Should I write that down? But cheerfulness is worth the effort. It won't change the world. Its effect is small, but it is immediate and real.
Along similar lines, be generous. The worst moment of my career happened in the blink of an eye. I was hammering out an exhibit list with opposing counsel, and I got frustrated with what seemed like an 11th hour change. I used an expletive, something along the lines of, I effing cannot believe you were doing this, but I didn't say effing. I know, students who took my classes are shocked that I would ever use such language. Opposing counsel was silent for a beat and then said that was not appropriate. She was right, it wasn't. I was mortified. I acknowledged my error immediately, apologized, and miraculously was forgiven. She could have made my life hell, raised the issue with her boss, to talk to my boss, perhaps even the court, but she was generous. She gave me a pass. Give people a pass when you can. They'll be incredibly grateful. There are, of course, other ways to be generous. In the inimitable words of Liam Neeson, you are leaving law school with a very particular set of skills.
We also incorporate all great movie quotes by reference herein.
As Professor Sickler urged you last night, be generous in using those skills in service of others as citizen lawyers.
Professor Sickler's speech is hereby incorporated by reference, as is Megan Gordon's slideshow and Terry Effort's one-woman awards ceremony.
If you can manage to be open to challenges, pick your battles, trust your instincts, be cheerful, and be generous all at the same time, then it should be no problem for you to simultaneously
Plan for the future. One thing you'll want to do as a successful lawyer is spend money, maybe lease a Lexus. Just make sure you're also saving money along the way. I want you to think in terms of $84 a month. Why 84? Because 84 times 12 is a little over 1,000.
math. One more reason you loved our classes.
So if you can whittle down your recurring expenses by $84 a month, that's $1,000 a year. Invest that $1,000, and you could have something in the range of $40,000 at retirement. So remember, $84. But that's just retirement savings. You've got to do more to prepare for the future. You need to expect the unexpected, prospectively outwit those who will come along later, which is why we hereby incorporate by reference all good parts of all future speeches. Furthermore, any and all persons listening to this speech or reading any transcript or summary thereof agree on behalf of themselves and their heirs and assigns never to incorporate our speech in whole or in part by reference. Thus, even in the future, there will never be as great a commencement address as this one.
Which brings up our next point. When things go wrong, despite your best planning, be resilient. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise once said, "It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life."
We also incorporate all good Star Trek quotes by reference here.
What the esteemed captain said is in fact incredibly profound. I once moved to dismiss a claim from opposing counsel's complaint. All of the law indicated that I should win, but I lost my motion to dismiss, and the follow-up motion for summary judgment, and the motion for a directed verdict. I had to draft jury instructions for this spurious cause of action before it was finally dismissed. The thing is, you can do everything right and still lose. The key is to stick with it. Let me tell you about this one opposing counsel. I didn't much like him, but I really learned from him. He would make an evidentiary objection at trial, lose, and pop right back up with another evidentiary objection. He was like an inflatable pop-up clown with a weighted bottom. You know, one of those children's toys you punch, it pops back up, you punch it again. The attorney lost a lot of motions, but he won a lot too. I'm sure it's because his mind was always working the problem and trying new angles. His resilience, the way he was entirely unfazed by loss, was genuinely inspiring.
Be just. The law is not justice. It is a tool to achieve justice. It's up to you to use that tool for just means and just ends. An aspiring law student had a story that stuck with me. This all happened pretty nearby. This person was driving home from a bar very late at night. He was the designated driver. Another car, clearly driven by someone who was drunk, hit his car and then accelerated off into the night, a hit and run. Well, the aspiring law student knew he'd need to file a police report for the insurance claim, but it was something like 2 a.m., and he needed to drive his friend home. So this aspiring law student, hit and run victim, went to the police station first thing the next morning. After he gave his statement, do you know what they did? They promptly arrested him on a charge of failing to report an accident at the quickest available opportunity. The statute that made this a crime was clearly designed to protect people from being the victim of a hit and run. This guy was the victim of a hit and run, but they charged him under this statute, and the prosecutor prosecuted it. Now he has a criminal record, and a couple of years later, he's worried about how this will affect his chances for admission to law school. So he says, "I've learned my lesson. I was irresponsible and should have obeyed my obligations under the law." And I'm thinking, you learned the wrong lesson, my friend. The lesson is that we, the bar, have failed you. The fact is, this is only one among many similar stories I've heard along these lines. A lot of you will be prosecutors. Go after the bad guys, please. But you don't need to prosecute everyone just because the letter of the law allows it. What would make you do that? Store policy? But you're not a representative at guest services. Remember, you need not be small in front of the law. You can and should act as its steward. This mandate is not limited to prosecutors or to judges. All of you, when you leave here today, when you see the system going sideways, step up. This law of ours is now your responsibility. So be just.
Finally, be supportive. There will be times when your colleagues and loved ones will need your support. The best thing you can do is be there for them. When I entered practice, I desperately wanted to focus on white-collar crime. Instead, I got assigned to a patent case. A year or so within the patent case, there was a white-collar crime issue that needed to be researched. But I wasn't given that opportunity. It was given to an attorney even more junior than me. I was furious. When I got home that night, my husband handed me a letter. It was a typewritten letter addressed to me. It said, "The partners made the right call in not giving me the white-collar crime issue to research because the new associate was simply better than me, and I didn't deserve the opportunity." This letter was signed, "The Old Black Phone." Now, we had this old black phone. It didn't work. It was an old rotary-style phone we just hadn't gotten around to throwing in the trash. And after I read the note, Eric took me to our apartment complex parking lot. He placed the old black phone on the ground, then he handed me safety goggles and a baseball bat. And so I just beat that phone with a bat. That is true love, people. That's support. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure I was pregnant then too. And that child has no particular affinity for hitting household objects with bats, so we dodged a bullet on that one, though he is very into his phone these days. A few months later, I had a colleague who was going through her own struggles at work. I took a firm-issued baseball cap, one with the firm logo on it, and I trimmed that out, and I made it into a pincushion, a sort of voodoo doll for her bad days. Guess what? She's now a partner at that firm, and I believe she still has that pincushion in her desk drawer. There are all kinds of ways to be supportive. Less violent ways, probably, but be there for one another. It will make the success you have that much sweeter to have good friends on the summit with you.
You've already got a big head start on being supportive. Your capacity to support one another and to support the UND Law community are manifest. The caring that UND Law students and alums show for one another is one of the things that makes this school so special. And the announcement last night of the Class of 2018 gift, a scholarship in the name of Shuan Ernst Clement, who passed away last summer, is robust evidence of that. Keep it up.
In closing, let us offer you one last big picture summary for old time's sake. Be open to challenges.
Pick your battles.
Trust your instincts.
Be cheerful.
Be generous.
Plan for the future.
Be resilient.
Be just.
Be supportive. We wish you all the best as you embark on your careers, confident that you'll handle your success the way that you handled your learning, tackling it head on and thinking of others.
Some of you may remember my top tip for improving your writing: cut out adverbs. Notwithstanding that, let me say, Class of 2018, that you are truly, truly, truly outrageously special. We love you guys. Thank you for letting us be a part of your lives, and thank you for allowing us to feel like we have been incorporated by reference into your success. Congratulations, Class of 2018.
Thank you, Kit and Eric. You have had an immeasurable impact on the success of North Dakota's law school, and we are truly grateful for all you have done for the School of Law and for our university. And now, we will turn to the formal conferring of the degrees. I'll ask President Kennedy to come to the lectern.
The candidates for Juris Doctor degrees at the School of Law will be presented by Dean Catherine Rand.
Will the candidates please rise? President Kennedy, these candidates have completed all the requirements for the degree of Juris Doctor. I therefore have the honor of presenting them to you for the conferring of this degree.
The candidate for Master of Business Administration degree will be presented by Dean Grant Majimsi.
President Kennedy, as indicated in the program, one of these candidates has completed all the requirements for the degree of Masters of Business Administration in the combined Juris Doctor MBA program. I have the honor of presenting that candidate to you for the conferring of that degree.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the North Dakota State Board of Higher Education, I confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. For you who have completed the combined Juris Doctor MBA program, I also confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration.
Thank you, President Kennedy. As our proctor, hooders, and grand marshal take their positions, please join me in acknowledging this significant academic achievement of our newest Juris Doctors. Graduates, please be seated. When the candidates marshal indicates to you, please come forward for your hooding and the receipt of your diplomas.
Mehdi Abedi. Tara Anderson. Grant Thomas Baki. Grant has also successfully completed the requirements of the Master of Business Association degree through the College of Business and Public Administration. Michael Gregory Andrew Baldwin. Gannon C. Becker. Jenna Bergman. Stephanie Bono. Colin Brown. Kyle Brown. Ashley Bakuski. William M. Candia. Jonathan Trevor Cantrell. Marissa Circoni. Christopher D. Cerny. Zainab Ebelechukwu Chinyin. Amber Renee Cleveland. Anthony John Cooper. Erica Prefontaine Dean. Anna Kathleen Dirth. Catherine Del Zoppo. Catherine Elizabeth Drexel. Eric James Edison. Terry Lynn Efforts. Woodley Clarcius Finellis. Stephanie Forboard. Daniel Paul Frank. Jillian Nadine Gimbler Gotterman. Laura Freezy Goforth. April Gonzalez Anderson. Megan J. Gordon. Patrick Robert Haroldson. Thomas Nathaniel Hutchings. Jeffrey Edward Janka. Nicole M. Johnson. Adam Justinger. Eric Thomas Kurzman. Eric Kester Maybon. Christina Trinidad Kissinger. Cole Knudsen. Victoria Conadaris. Michael Anthony John Kustra. Anders Larson. Ethan Robert Lee. Jacob Brendan Love. William Edward Mayhood. Kyle Lewis Medeiros. Katie Joe Miller. Lauren Caroline Milne. Kelly Moe. Ross Montgomery. Jacqueline Dolores Mosier. Brittany Elise Nordic. Obong Nsentep. Sly Mbaduwa Anya. Dennis Robert Pathroff. Kari Peterson. Mark Joseph Pilch. Samuel D. Rankin. Catherine Raymond. Scott B. Robillard. Santana Rose Royer. Cynthia M. Schaefer. Shelby Amelia Shields. Serena Elizabeth Seashore. Shelby Simmons. Veronica L. Smith. Margarita J. Spazzano. Jeffrey Paul Sprout. Eric Benjamin Thomas. Keely Paige Torgerson. Jason Heston Van Horn. Suleiman M. Wadi. Alyssa Wall. Joshua L. Weatherspoon. Kyle L. Weinberger. Henry L. Williams, Sr. Joshua T. Wolf. Jennifer Christine Wojtowicz.
Thank you, President Kennedy, for doing us the honor of conferring the Juris Doctor degrees on the members of the School of Law class of 2018. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. So wrote Martin Luther King Jr. when he was a student at Morehouse College. In that same essay, King also said, education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the true from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from the fiction. Though his words were written 70 years ago, they remain relevant today. As higher education faces steep challenges in our state and across our nation, I hope we here at the University of North Dakota never lose sight of intelligence plus character as the goal of true education. Our university's president, Mark Kennedy, knows the importance of true education. He's working to lead our university to meet unprecedented challenges in terms of both resources and competition. President Kennedy is a former member of the U.S. House of Representatives, a former senior executive with several corporations, including Macy's, and a past advisor on international trade to Presidents Bush and Obama. Before joining UND, he served as the director of George Washington University's Graduate School of Political Management, and he's been a guest lecturer on leadership at UND School of Law. President Kennedy, we are very glad to have you here, and we are sincerely grateful for your support of North Dakota's Law School. Please join me in welcoming President Mark Kennedy.
Thank you so much, Dean Rand. What a wonderful ceremony. Let's give our graduates one more round of applause. Have you ever wondered why lawyers call a 60-page document a brief? But I will set aside that tradition in hopes that my remarks can be incorporated by reference into the world's best ever commencement address. I've spent my life working with lawyers. In business, I negotiated with most of the top law firms in New York. In Congress, 3 out of 4 members in Congress are lawyers. Here at UND, I spent a lot of time with representatives of our Attorney General. I've seen mediocre lawyers, I've seen good lawyers, I've seen great lawyers. We at the University of North Dakota are blessed that we have had a great lawyer as dean of our law school for the last decade. Please help me in recognizing Dean Catherine Rand for her decade of service as dean. Some of you will end up in law firms, some of you will be in organizations, some of you may be in public service, like North Dakota's Attorney General, who's a UND grad. Some of you may be judges, like the 4 out of 5 members of the North Dakota Supreme Court that are UND grads. But whatever you do, at some time in your career, you will be an advisor. Now, growing up in the era of John and Bobby Kennedy, the Kennedy brothers, when they were on the national stage, my next oldest brother and I were oftentimes referred to as the Kennedy brothers. So it should not be a surprise that when the movie 13 Days on the Cuban Missile Crisis came out, many asked my brother, who now leads the largest law office in Minnesota, did he see himself in that movie as John the President or Bobby the Attorney General? To which his reply was neither. He saw himself as Kenny O'Donnell, Special Assistant to the President, the lawyer that President Kennedy would often turn to when he wanted to get close counsel. I would suggest to you that there are few greater compliments than if you become someone that senior leaders and others turn to because they trust your advice, because they believe it is unbiased, because they believe that the advice you are giving them is in their interest, not your interest, but their interest. There are few greater compliments that can be paid than that. In the movie, during the apex of the face-off with the Soviet Union, O'Donnell commented, "If the sun comes up tomorrow, it is only because of men and women of goodwill, and that's all that stands between us and the devil." UND, class of 2018, whatever else you accomplish in life, I call on you to be someone whose opinion, advice is trusted and respected, that you will help stand between us and the devil, that you will help the sun come up tomorrow, that you will make us UND proud. Thank you.
Thank you, President Kennedy. And thanks again to Kit and Eric Johnson and to our other participants in today's ceremony. As our commencement ceremony comes to a close, we have a few folks to thank. The music that has so nicely enhanced today's ceremony has been provided by Brent Hermans, and our ceremony has been made more accessible thanks to Hannah Crotty, our sign language interpreter. The careful coordination of our ceremony has been ably handled by Fred Whitman and Don Botsford. At the School of Law, there are many who contributed to the success of today's ceremony and our other commencement events. I'd like to mention the hard work and gracious planning of Rob Carolyn, our Director of Alumni and Public Relations, and Beth Moe, our events coordinator. And a special shout out to Dean Brad Parrish, who takes on all other duties as assigned with excellence and humor. Please join me in expressing our gratitude for all of these good folks' efforts in making this an enjoyable and memorable event. Immediately following this morning's ceremony, the School of Law will host a brunch for all of our graduates and their guests at the Memorial Union. The brunch will begin as soon as we're done here, so please make your way to the Union after the ceremony. Our pomp and circumstance will continue as we leave the auditorium. Our commencement marshals will lead the recessional in the reverse order of the entrance procession. Please stay in your seats until indicated by the marshals, which will be after the platform party and the graduates have exited the auditorium. Once again, I thank you for joining us today, and I offer my own congratulations to our newest School of Law alumni, the class of 2018. We are proud of you, we believe in you, and we can't wait to see what you will achieve next. Congratulations.
The commencement ceremony is now complete. Please remain in your seats and enjoy the music as the graduates and platform party exit the auditorium. You'll be directed by the marshals when it is time for you to exit the auditorium to meet your graduate. Thank you for attending today's ceremony.